Hello. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face, my card making space, live, unscripted, unfiltered, and it's just me. The unpaid intern usually only is able to help on my Sunday lives, and then when I do the bonus ones, it's just me running the show, which is unbelievably obvious. I'm not prepared. I'm kind of prepared. I know what I'm making. This is all going to come together. Everything is good. Today ran away from me. Like, completely ran away from me. And it's nuts. It's nuts. But I have links to the things that I plan on using. They're in the description. Yeah, everything's good. Okay. They're in the description box below the video. And again, he's not here to link everything up for me, but it's there. It's easy to find. And I pinned it at the top of the live chat. And yeah, hello to everyone. I'm feeling a little just, but that'll pass once we get into it. I was going to have like everything like really ready to go. We're just going to like do. But I now have to like die cut and all the stuff because I'm not ready. This is just, everything's good. Everything's good. Oh, I know what I forgot. I forgot one thing. I knew there was something. Okay, I got to add one more thing to our supply list because he's also kind of the main. I have it. Okay. Some people, I apologize. I know this really irritates some people when the live streams aren't, polished and good to go, and you know what I mean. Which I get. But not like mine ever are. Not like any of my lives are like polished and super professional and, all them sorts of things. I just need to, which this may also mess up my links because we're also limited in how many links we can put in description box below the video. Like it limits how many characters, which at times causes an annoying amount of chaos. But that's also why I link to the visual supply list, which is linked directly below, and it's linked in the chat. I pin it to the top or whatever's. I try to make it as easy as possible. But today I'm doing great. Okay. Added that. Let's move the thingies. I just gotta like get that where it needs to be so I can derp. There we go. And then add the one last thinger. I think I can remove that thing as well. And then we'll just see if I can like pop this in here. It's going to screw up your description's too long. Of course it is. Thanks for that. I know what else I can do. I can take this out. There we go. I'll always find a way around. So yes. Hello. We're all here for the chaos. I know, right? I think okay, we're good. Now we're good. Let's get into it. I think if I was all of a sudden to like show up and be like super polished and professional, and everything's just like that, I think a lot of you'd be like, it's an alien, she has been taken. It's a cry for help. In fact, I used to joke with that with a friend. I forget. There was something we were joking about in relation to me being just a chaotic mess. And it's like, yeah, she knew. Oh, yeah. That if ever I started saying certain phrases or, again, being like super calm, professional, yada, 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 it's like, I am being held hostage. I guess it's just like, am I ever calm, cool, put together? No, never. Okay. I have a mess, but thankfully, I can actually show you guys ahead of time what I'm making because I did Instagram hop this morning, and I did my little project and did the whole photos, and I even put in there that I'd go live to show how I made it because I made it and I didn't film it because I was just all the crazy, ridiculous things. So I get to show you guys the card ahead of time. Usually I'm literally flying by the seat of my pants, you know, just figuring it out. We would think that the alien's so cute. 100%. I think we should all just, you know, if I ever show up and I'm just like, you know, coiffed, business attire, super professional card maker, very scripted, all the things, that should just be a clear sign that I'm either being held hostage or I have been taken and it's an alien or something, you know, because it just ain't gonna happen, man. Okay, let's look at I was warned I'll have to behave myself for company lives like all new. Yes, there is that aspect to it when I'm doing lives or like class type work for a brand, like when I'm officially representing a brand. That is sort of a caveat. However, even for me, I'm still flying by the seat of my pants, you know? I try a little harder to be very aware of my language, even though I don't really swear at all during my lives. It's been many years of me conditioning myself, you know, to be appropriate within reason. But yeah, that does add to the sweating value. Like I sweat when I'm doing like those types of lives and stuff because it's like I'm representing the brand, so I don't want to be offensive or, you know, myself. But it still works. Thank you, Fern. Thank you so much. So, anyway, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yep. Okay, let's get to it. So, this is what we're going to make. So, he is on my Instagram account. My Instagram is linked in the description box below, like all my social medias. And it's worth checking out because it's part of a hop. And today is day 2 of, I think it's like 5 days of Instagram hops. Something. So there's lots of inspiration. Tons and tons and tons of makers. So worth checking out just for the inspo. And there's like giveaways and everything else. So if you haven't seen it, go to the Instagram. I've got the links to everybody, you know, and then there'll be another one tomorrow. So today is the one I'm part of. And this is what I made. So that's what we're gonna make today. And yeah, I got nothing prepped because I used it all up, and then today has been just fun. But this won't take long, or at least, yeah, it won't take super crazy long because I'm recreating, which I don't really do this very often. I need to do this more often, like make something. I get asked that a lot. It's like, do you know, make everything ahead of time before you go live, before you film? And no, I make it in my head. You know, I'm just like, do. Again, flying by the seat of my pants. Chaos. But yeah, because this was for an Instagram hop, and I ran out of time, man. It's been a little bit much with everything. So we're gonna just prep, which won't take very long. So I have this is the, which always looks kind of funny. This is the penguin holder little die set. Ginny, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. So yes, thank you. Penguin holders, and I just stuck a little magnet to it. Super cute. I've done other videos. There's many holders from Prairie Pink Posh. Like there was a cat, there's a dog, a bunny rabbit. Were there any other ones yet? Oh, a ghost. There's a ghost, a cat, a dog, and a bunny rabbit. I think those are the 4 so far. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. So they're like the little characters, and the whole point is they can hold things. And then there's like additions that have come out because you guys know I love that concept of having a base stamp or die set and then building on it over time and having add-ons and just ways to, you know, get more use out of it, get more ideas, etc. I love it. So the little holders, there's been a bunch of them, additions, all the things. So I'm using the penguin dude today because he's super cute. I love penguins. I love them a lot. I need to do 2 of these. And then some of these little add-ons, these are from I think they're just called Christmas holder editions. That's what the link I'd forgot. Yeah, Christmas holder editions, which I've already used in a previous video. Okay, I just need to cut some extra cardstock. Ooh, I forgot to link to... No, I did. This was Concord 9. This is like cranberry, I think. Okay, so we got those pieces. And then... Doodly-doo. His feet. Just gonna cut like this. Oh, I know what I forgot to link to. Crap. One more thing. These might be out of stock again, but if they are, I'll have them in the list. They won't be under the video because, like I said, I ran out of space. But they'll be on the visual. No, if I could spell. Spelling, folks. There we go. Found them. Bing, bing. The little shape sprinkles. Okay, those will be in the visual list. They just won't be under the video. We'll get to it. So we got his body. This weird little thing which like threw me when I was like, what is this? What is that? It's for his like face and his little tummy, you know? Which just makes me laugh because in a recent video, and I've used up all of my white scraps, who'd have thunk? In a recent video, the one I did with the mittens holding the hot cocoa cup, that video that I posted earlier in the week, last week, I had so many people, the comments on that one made me laugh because I didn't see it. And those that saw that video, you know what I'm talking about. I didn't see it. What everyone else was seeing, I didn't see it. But y'all made it very clear what you saw in what that shape of that wafer die in the beginning. And it makes sense. It made me laugh. Anyway, yeah, things like that. It's like, I get it. You see a die shape and it's just like, what is this? You know, what do you do? What are you? Happens to me all the time. And then, you know, you see it all come together and it's like, oh, okay. I get what you're laying down. You know. Okay, we got those. And then there's a little gift. Because of course he's going to be holding a little present, but we're going to cut extras of them. And I'm going to use... Ooh, I have that already. I love when some stuff's ready to go. This is Concord and 9th Tide Pool cardstock. So I'm going to do... I think, did I do 2 of these originally? So this is how I... No, another dark one. And then this one is Lakefront. Love it. It almost does kind of look like a peep. It is. It's just a funny little shape. Here, let me kind of move. Let me zoom out a little bit so we're not like right in my desk. This is how everything is. You know, when I do my more professional videos and everything's already die cut, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I die cut off camera because again, who wants to watch me sit and die? Who wants to watch sitting and just die cutting? I appreciate you all tuning in because that's literally what we're doing. So either we're all insane or I don't know, but I appreciate you guys. But yeah, this is how it is. It's just chaos and stuff's thrown all over my desk. And yeah, I threw it all down. I was like, I'm going to do this. And then life got completely away from me. And I was running errands and doing 5 million things in life, you know? He does that, the little body shape. So this is what I do. When I'm planning on doing like a die cut heavy card, I prep ahead of time. I go through all my scraps. I always go for scraps first. That's why I keep all my scraps. And I go through all my scraps and I make little piles if I'm doing multiples of the same, you know, I've got one die, but I want to die cut it 3 times. So I just make little piles. I make little piles of whatever it is I'm die cutting and trim out whatever I need to do. So then there's those, there's that. I can get those out of the way. I can get that out of the way. I need the base for my, there we go, for my little candy canes. And this is why I keep all my scraps, really. Really, this is why. Because I can die cut them with smaller wafer dies. So I keep every single scrap that I own. It's like, oh, that fits right there. Perfect. There we go. There's a candy cane. And then we'll do a second candy cane. I have to do 4 of these because that's just how I wanted to do this card. Can I fit 2 more on here? Most likely. If we do it like that. Like, oh, yeah. So there's our candy canes. So that is the majority, other than I got snowflakes. There we go. This gives you us more time to chat. Yeah, oh, totally. Like, I like talking. I like talking to you guys. So really, it's all good. I just, again, in my head, that's what I just have to come to terms with. In my head, I was all like, this is going to be an awesome, quick and simple little live. You know, I won't get people all upset with me like usually happens. But actually, we'll get to that in a second. So let's just start die cut. Ooh, I'm like knocking over everything. Start die cutting and just get her done so that we can get to the more fun stuff. I don't mind the die cutting. It just sometimes can get a little tedious when I've got 5 million other things to do and not enough space to like lay everything out either. And then yeah, I just maximize my die cutting space. Get them all on there like this. We'll get that one in there. I can get, was I doing like both of these on the same piece? What was I doing? What was I doing? Who is this? Where am I? I don't know what's happening. I think I'm just being a little bit ridiculous today, aren't I? Again, are we surprised? We shouldn't be. There we go. There we go. Now I kind of know what I was doing. And then that guy can fit there. This guy can fit there. We'll just make this work. Actually, I want to do I'm going to do our little candy canes because these guys are another one that I have to die cut multiples of. So we can go like that and like that. There we go. Yes, today is Remembrance Day in Canada. So that was why I didn't go live earlier. I was gonna, because I was gonna go live at the same time as the hop, but yeah, 11 a.m. moment of silence, and then a lot of different events and things. But ours we usually do earlier because of the kids' school schedule, and they do events for Remembrance Day, which I love. I love that little the effort put in to doing this, and been doing it since I was a kid. It is a thing. Okay. I'm trying to not, okay. And then his little feet, I just take the die cut piece and use what's left over. Oh, I didn't have my mat lined up. I didn't die cut that very well. Crap. Let me redo that. That was on me. Okay, so, yes, always huge thank you to all those who served, who are continuing to serve, all of it. Big, big respect for that. Okay. And then the patented Kathy Zielski die cut removal technique, when you just fling it on your desk. That said, be careful when you do that. I try to drop my wafer dies versus like fling them. Because if you fling them, they will bounce, like really bounce. And I have, you know, with my enthusiastic, like, wing, and then I end up with a die pop, you know, flinging off my table, and then I'm crawling around the floor trying to find it. So that's always fun too. Okay, I don't want to lose because I'm going to be die cutting that guy in a second from something else. So line up all these other pieces. Here's the base for our little penguin, and see his little arms pop out. And then, so now that it starts making sense, that's what the weird little doofy goes, and then his little beak, you know. Once it comes together, it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. So we got that. Try to keep most of these die cut pieces in their release. This will make sense when I put them together. I think I showed, did I use this set in a live? I think I might have. Either that or just in a video. I know I've used it in a previous one. Okay, so we got to do that one again. Like so. Stick them on there. And then we got those. Him, do. Oh, I can just use the scrap anyway. Dupe. And then for the glittery bits, which for the top of his hat, that's this die. And for the snowflakes, I'm going to use glitter cardstock. So I'm using, this is the Milky Way glitter cardstock set from Ultinu. There's also this Moonstone you can get in like full packs, like full 8.5 by 11 type packs. It is just stupidly gorgeous. Stupidly gorgeous. But this multi-pack, like I bought this years ago. There might even be more than one pack in here because I think I've purchased this like more than once over the years, because when they first released their little glitter cardstock packs, I was like here for it, obviously. But yeah, there's Moonstone, Silver, Platinum. It's just ridiculously gritty. This one, oh. I've never used this, and now I'm already... my lights make it. This is iridescent hematite. It has like rainbow sparkles in it. My camera's not doing it justice. I wonder if there's a way to like... Can I? Oh, there you go. You can kind of see it. Because yeah. Sapphire. Really deep blue. Gorgeous. And then black diamond, which also has a little bit of that same sort of just little flecks of rainbow, like iridescent in it. Not a lot. So anyway, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's such good. Such good. Many good. All the good. I love it. Love it. So that's what we're using for the little topper for his hat. And then I'm using it also for these snowflakes, you know, as an additional little embellishment. And this is where I'm for sure going to add in my metal shim to my die cut sandwich, because Ultinu's glitter cardstock, it die cuts fabulously. It is a little bit thicker than Simon Says Stamp's glitter cardstock. I would say the tonic is similar in thickness. Like it's like cardstock with the glitter, if that makes sense. So anything a little more intricate, I like to have a metal shim, or if you have a different die cut machine, even just to add like a little cardstock shim, just to give that smidge of extra pressure with anything intricate. But yeah, it all die cuts like a dream. Love it. Okay. There we go. Okay. So then we've got his feet. I love it. I love it. So we have his little feet. We has his little beak. There is a wafer die for him for his eyes. We're not using that. I'm using something else. We'll get to it when we get to it. We'll get there when we get there, you know. Y'all, on top of it all, I'm just in a mood. Again, is any of this surprising? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Oh, I have to die cut that. And one more gift. Like that. And then these I can just slide off and set right there. That'll come in handy in a second. Ugh, love it. Like, yeah. For basic shapes, pretty much any glitter cardstock within reason, it's more like this, you know, like snowflakes. The more finicky bits that the shim can come in handy for. You know what I mean? So I wiggle my cardstock and we're good. So we got that one. And then I wanted to die cut. I'm going to die cut this smaller snowflake. And like I've said a million times, pieces like this, I keep. I keep them in the package because the amount of times that I will use up those little pieces, die cutting a little star, a little doop, a little heart, a little, just something tiny, always comes in handy. I save all the bits all the time. Doo-doo-doo. Oh yeah, the sparkle is, it's so good. Okay, those guys are done. Sometimes you have to let it, there we go, fall with purpose. That's, yeah, Kathy Zielski. She's a gem. Okay, that's all of I think that's all the die cutting we need to do, really, and then we're done. And then we can get rightfully, oh, and this. I love these notched rectangles. That's gonna frame little Mr. Penguin. Let's run that through. There we go. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I gave everyone, you know, a little bit more of a heads up than I normally do with my live streams. I said, because again, this was all kind of last minute. I was scrambling around last night to get my Instagram post ready to go, and I was like, hey, I should go live. And so I did. Set it up last night, and then I was like, we'll just see what happens, you know? Okay. One more snowflake and we'll be done with all of this. So we got that. We got that little bit. We got these guys. And then I keep all my teeny tiny scraps. Oh yeah, I do too now. I remember when I first got into card making a lifetime ago, literally over 20 years ago. It was considered like a rule of thumb to never keep scraps. Never keep scraps smaller than like 2 inches square, you know, because it was a waste of space and da da da. It's like anything smaller than that. But that also was before we even had wafer dies, really. They weren't a thing like they are now. And then when die cutting, you know, more and more now, it's like, oh no, I keep every little scrap right down to like the tiniest things because I use them. Like I'm always grabbing a little die cut for, you know, a little piece, little eyes, little hearts, little accessories, or just whatever layering bit. It's like a little flower center that's a tiny little wafer die. Perfect. Run that through with a scrap. Why cut into full sheets of cardstock when you've got scraps? And then specialty cardstock, I save all of it. I hoard it. It is what it is, but I use it, so I don't really care. Okay, there's all our little die cuts. Let's get something. Let me move some things around so I don't lose said die cuts, because that would suck. Yeah, no, I keep all the scraps, man, because they come in handy. So Thankfully, I had that all ready to go. My background is the same Tide Pool cardstock. And then I'm using the Twinkle. Love the Twinkle Stencil. This one, I don't know why. I love that shape for like stars, twinkly, just, you know, I love it. So we're just doing simple though. I'm just going to go like ink, but like paste, glitter paste. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. It would look amazing. But I'm doing tone on tone with this because we're gonna add splatter, of course, and some stamping and just all the things. So we're just keeping it simple. There we go. I'm just gonna use this brush. So Tide Pool ink on Tide Pool cardstock. So very tone on tone. Nothing too crazy. So stuck the background. The background is A2 size, by the way, like 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This will cover my card front. And just blend that ink over it. But yeah, this is a stencil. This is one of those stencils where I would classify it as a basic, you know, because it can go with so many things. You can use it for anything, you know, just to create this pretty pattern, pretty background, winter theme, holiday theme, any theme, I think. This sort of, like, look at that. It works with everything. I love it. I love the stencil. And paste, eventually, I will use it with paste, but not today, because I was like, I got too many other things. And then I've shown this before, but let's sort of clean up as I go, because my desk is an absolute disaster. Are we surprised? I didn't put a link to this, but it's just a Mighty Mister from Spellbinders. I put isopropyl alcohol in mine, like 70%. You can get it at any pharmacy, grocery store, whatever. And then I label it heavily, you know, so I don't spray it on things. I only use alcohol to clean my stencils and to clean like my glass work surface. Do not use alcohol on your photopolymer stamps, on any of your stamps. Don't use it on your stamps. Don't use it on grip mats. Don't do it, because the alcohol will break them down over time, and photopolymer will start to degrade, and it'll start getting like gummy, and you do not want that on your grip mats, your stamps, things like that. So I just use the alcohol on my stencils. You don't have to either. You can use water. Because, you know, water reactive inks, they clean off super easily. I just do the alcohol because it's fast. It's dry. I'm good to go. I can move on to the next thing. But yeah, you can just clean it with like water. So you got that, and then my white balance is off again from the reflection. It'll come back eventually. This camera's driving me insane. Okay, actually, there's the package for this thing. Yeah. Cleaning as I go is a total lie. A total lie. I'll clean up when we're done live. So, have him. Where am I? There am I. I got little stamps from this little Let It Snow stamp set, because that's going to be our sentiments. But then there's these little snowflakes. So I pulled the snowflakes out, and then I'm just going to stamp them with Lakefront, which is a little bit darker ink, onto the background. Not worried about them being perfect either. I already messed it up. Don't overly care. I can just go like this. Boop. So this will just sort of build up that background a little bit. And I'm not worried about the center, because that's going to get covered up with that, as you can see. So this just gives a little extra something. Could do one right there. Yep, that's good. That's good. And then, actually, I'm going to wipe these stamps off, and I'm going to stamp a few onto this as well with the lighter ink. The Misty Light. I couldn't tell y'all nothing. I have, I don't know. I'm intrigued by it. I am curious. I've seen it pop up, but I couldn't tell you. I don't have it. That's never sent to me, you know. Um, Same with like the Misties, all of it. Like I bought those out of pocket myself. So I will have to order it and play with it because I'm genuinely curious. Like I was just like, you know what I mean? So I do plan on ordering it, but where I usually order from and stuff, like no one has it in stock yet. Like they're waiting. So by the time it gets in stock and then I can order it and then it can get shipped to me, I'm not even gonna have it. I'm assuming till who knows when. And then on top of it, Canada Post and the rotating strikes, everything. So yeah, I most likely won't even get my hands on it till closer to the end of the year. And then I'll need some time to play with it, and get my thoughts around it and all of that. Cause I am intrigued. I'm intrigued. And regardless whether something is sent to me or not, that's kind of besides the point. Cause it's like, especially when it's like tools, those sorts of things, it's like I'll depending on what it is, a lot of times I need time to like play with it to see, because yeah, I don't like recommending something just because it's like shiny new, whatever. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I will most likely be ordering it to get my hands on it so I can play with it, and then we'll just see. Um, Yeah, my thing, honestly, what I'm most intrigued, like at first I was like, mm, and I did watch some of their video on it, and what I like about it in theory, I was like, I could see myself using it, like, because at first, as always, my knee jerk reaction with anything new, I'm just like, do we really need this in our lives? You know what I mean? However, what I think in theory that I will, and that's why I want to order it, is because of the smaller size of it and everything, is I could see myself using it because, like, for sentiments, like, you guys see me, I'm always grabbing an acrylic block, and I was like, oh, I mostly for me, for things like sentiments, but I can see other applications for others, like using it in junk journals, and like it's an interesting tool. I am very intrigued by it. So yeah, I do plan on. Where's my blending brush? Welcome to the chaos, y'all. I've already lost like everything. I've lost my mind. What else is new? No, no, no. There it is. That's the one I wanted. Okay. So, um, it looks really neat. I'm just worried about shifting since the magnets on it apparently aren't strong enough to work with a magnet board. Truth. Okay, we're gonna do a bit of ink blending. Let me like explain first. So same color, like, or not same color. This is Simon's like slate cardstock, just dark gray cardstock. It's basically the same as mushroom, whatever. Um, and then dark gray ink just to add that little bit of depth, which it'll look darker at first until the ink fully dries. But this just gives depth. Um, yes, the Misty Light itself, even with a magnet, um, just on something like the glass board because of the thickness of the glass, yeah. Because I first when I like first, because I gotta like organize my thoughts. Because I've just been hearing about it the same as you all this week. Um, because the metal board that is also like it's a separate purchase or whatever. And at first I was just like, well, I don't need that. I have this, but I do have a different metal board that's very similar. It's actually hanging on my desk. Was it Wendy Vecchi? I have it. This one. Here, I'll show you guys what I mean. I have this that, oh, it's sticking to everything. It's, oh no, well, it's by Tonic. Same thing. I have this one by Tonic, and it's metal with a foam little piece. And the MISTI one, the new one that they've released, will be the exact same concept. I think theirs is a smidge smaller, but I've already got this. And then what I did with mine, I don't know if the MISTI has it. The Tonic one has a hole in it. So I just put a cable and I hang it on the side of my like metal filing cabinet under my desk. Because this is the original magnet board, you know, that we used to use. Like, I've even got the little pawn-shaped magnets. So my plan is I'll probably just get the MISTI light. I don't need the MISTI board. And I can just use it with this because I've already got it. And then I can stick, really, technically, I can stick my, like, this is a waffle flower silicone, one of their silicone mats. I always forget I have this. This is great too. And grip mats would stick this too. But yeah, I just keep it hanging off the side because I haven't used this in forever. It's literally covered in dust. But I never wanted to get rid of it because it's thin. You know, they're super thin. And yeah, I got proven right now. You know, why I keep everything? Because it'll come in handy. Because yeah, I was like, oh, I can use it with that when I am able to order it. So, a win for me and my hoarding. Sometimes I call it professional curating, but other times it's just hoarding, let's be honest. So, that's my plan. Is I can get the MISTI light, and I even have those little pawn magnets. The MISTI ones are, you know, because I forgot. I'm glad I pulled that board out during this live. So thank you all for asking. Because I was going to order those magnets because I was like, oh, they're cute. Do I need them? No. But I was like, oh, they're cute. I've got little pawn magnets that I forgot about. So, yeah. You know. So, yeah, make art. The Wendy Becky like make art stuff. So, yeah. Okay. So we added a bit of ink, you know, builds up. This will dry back quite a bit, but that's, if you want more, especially on something really, really dark like this, like when you're dealing with really dark cardstocks, really dark gray, deep greens, dark navy blues, like deep, really dark cardstocks, and you're trying to add depth, because I talk about this a lot when you're using water-based dye inks that are transparent. That whole concept of when I say that these inks dry back and soften, if you want more depth, one, always test it out. Do a scrap, add the ink, let it fully dry, because you'd be surprised. Like, this will like dry back significantly. If I really wanted to build depth and, you know, black ink, like blending some black would definitely, I'm not doing that because I just don't care. That's not the look I'm going for. But that is another way when you're dealing with such dark cardstocks that, like, some inks just don't get dark enough because you just don't have the shades, like, say, a really, really dark red, dark green, you know. So then I would start with this, and then I would add some black ink, like black soot distress ink. That's usually my go-to, is black soot distress ink, because it is a good black ink, and it's so good for adding depth. And you just start with a light hand. It gets, you know. So we got that. And then for this, we need to add, actually, no, we'll do his feet first because this will all make sense in a second. So we got his feet and his little beak. And for that, we'll use sunflower. Move that aside. Sunflower ink. Where's my little brush? There he is. My little baby spellbinders brush. We'll just add just a little bit to build that depth. Boop. Like that. You know, just a smidge. And again, it will soften. It'll dry back a bit. There you go. And then for his little beak, I just kind of add it there, and then I just drag it out, and that's it. So got those, and I need to clean up that ink before I make a mess. Yes. The concept of that board is like handy, whether you the tonic one or the MISTI one. Like again, same concept. Um, it's a nice surface, being pretty solid. So it's just a nice surface to work on. Um, and yeah, I used mine for years, and then I hung it up on the side there because I got the glass boards started becoming a thing, and I was like, ooh, I like these, and I'm just glad I kept it. Okay, for this guy, so that's gonna go there, and then we'll have his eyes, but I want to give him little cheeks. So I took a really pale pink. Hello to those fashionably late. And a teeny little blending brush. And this, I start and I barely touch the cardstock, and then I'm just gonna build it up because I don't want a splotch, of the ink. So I tap it off, and then I just kind of build, which at first isn't gonna really look like much, but I want it subtle. So we'll just keep doing that. And then I'm giving him cute little cheeks, Doop, doop, doop. Just like that. Because it just gives them that little bit of whimsical extra. I don't know what it is. Anytime I'm doing anything critter related, little critter stamps, little critter dies. It's like they just need pink cheeks. It's just what you do, I don't know. Super cute. Love it. Okay. And then assembling him is like the easiest thing in the world. I just put some glue like that. Kind of avoid so I don't get glue on the back. And then we pop up his little arm and the other little arm. Try not to make a huge mess. There we go. Liquid glue for the win. We got that. And then we got that. And then his little feet like that. Where's my, there we go. So got those. And then once he comes together, it's like, oh, now it all makes sense. Now it all makes sense. There we go. There we go. Okay. Then all he needs, of course, is eyes. I got the make art board when I started card making. When I got the glass board, I started using the make art board to hold cross stitch patterns when I'm sitting. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. That could totally work. Especially people that, yeah, when you move your stuff around or you're sitting in front of the TV, that could come in handy. Because, yeah, you could have, like, if it's like assembly instructions or, yeah, cross stitch patterns, whatever, stick them to the mag. Brilliant. Love it. Okay. And for his eyes, these are linked in the visual supply list. They're not below the video because I ran out of space and I added them during the live because I forgot. I've shown these before. These are from Doodlebug. They're really called an eye for an eye, and they're little shape sprinkles. Perfection. Like little gems will work too. And like I said, the die set has a little wafer die that die cuts. This is just more convenient and it gives extra little. Love it. And yes, googly eyes is also an option. I really like how this. See? He just came to life. Quick and simple. Love it. But yes, googly eyes is also an option. Can't go wrong with googly eyes. Googly eyes are great. We love googly eyes. But look at our little dude. Look how cute. He's just so cute. He's so cute. You could squeeze him. I love him. He's adorable. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. Isn't he just... But yes, googly eyes as well. I love them. He would look cute with googly eyes. More derpy for sure with googly eyes. Googly eyes give the derp factor, which again with cutesy critters, I'm totally here for. Like, yeah. Okay. So then the assembly of all of this is so ridiculously simple and fun. Just like that. Excuse me. So he's got his little hat. And I'm doing mine kind of almost on a like holiday theme a bit, but the whole Pretty Pink Posh November release, like their winter release, is more winter themed, not specifically holiday, because holiday was their previous release. However, obviously doing this guy in red, it makes it more Christmas, but you could do just a totally different color. I was originally going to do this in the like lakefront color, because that would look really cute too. But then I changed my mind and I was like, no, I want this to be more like of a holiday card, because, and of course this can work on any of the little critters, the little holder sets. So the cat, the dog, the ghost. That would be cute. That would be cute. You know. And then yeah, there was a bunny. I think that was all of the little holders. I should have done a list for them. But again, I just forgot. You know? Isn't he just... And they're all really a decent enough size too. These would make really cute tags. Like to hang from a gift bag. Pop a little hole in it. Put a piece of string. And you could put the person's like name or just to from. How cute would that be? Seriously, how cute would that be? So yeah, and they'd be pretty quick and easy. You could skip the like all the ink blending and just have it as assembly, and you could make like a whole bunch of them. That'd be really cute. That would be really cute, you know? Okay, let's assemble. We've got all our little gifts because I want to add a bit of depth to these as well, just using those same inks. Let's move that one out of the way. We don't need that. Where's my other brush? That's the brush I want. So, a Santa ghost. So here, I know, right? I know, right? Like, why not? Why not? Ghosts deserve to celebrate the holidays as well, not just Halloween. Like, all ghosts matter. So we'll use the Tide Pool ink. And again, just quick and simple, little bit of blending, just to give it that smidge. And it will, especially like how I was saying with like darkening, see already, like this is lightened up like quite a bit. When you're blending tone on tone, like the same color ink and cardstock, always expect it for the moment, like again, unless depending on like the type of ink, but always expect it to fade back, like dry back quite a bit. So a lot of times you can either go heavier handed or just if you want a more subtle look. So like that will fade back. That's fine. I don't care. I only say it because sometimes it's interesting. You'll like go to all this work to blend or add like all this depth and dimension. And then you come back to the like finished project later and it's like, where did everything go? You know? And it's like, oh, everything fully dried. So it's just something to keep in mind. That all inks and it apply markers, all of it, when you're working on anything other than white, it's always going to look significantly darker because it's wet. So once it fully dries, evaporates, smooths out, it will be a lot more tone on tone, not as much dimension. So if you want heavy dimension, heavier hand, darker shades. I know, I love Lakefront is pretty, and Tide Pool. They're all so pretty. Like, can't go wrong with any of these colors. I'm missing, no, okay. I was like, I'm missing a piece. But yeah, these would make really cute. And like all the critters, really. I might actually have to do that. I don't really do a lot of tags for um gifts and that sort of a thing. Um but this would be easy. Like I could do a bunch of them and I could just do different all the different little critters, give them all little Santa hats. I might actually do that this year. Always like best intentions and then life decides to go completely sideways on me, which is always what happens. But yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind anyway, that I want to maybe do up a bunch of quick, because these would be easy. Doop. Okay. Just did that. And then you just, this little gift die with the stitching, and this topper is from the penguin holder set. This little bow die is from the add-ons, the holder add-ons, the Christmas one that I linked to in the supplies. So I just did that to like mix it up a bit so that they weren't looking all the exact same. And seriously, look how cute. Look how cute it is, you know? Love it. So we have those. And then these little candy canes. This was why I kept, or tried to keep, most of the pieces, there we go, in place, because this is just going to make it a lot faster to adhere all of these pieces down, because all I'm going to have to do, so I have my 2 candy canes. They've got, I'll zoom in a second. They have stitching detail. So what also could be faster? Let me zoom in. If you wanted to skip layering die cuts, is you could just take a marker and just color in between. You know, take a red marker, do your thing. But anyway, I keep the pieces in because then I can just go like this. Get out of your release. There we go. And it keeps them in the order, she says. So then this is going to be really fast for me to be able to adhere. Okay, what piece was that from? That was from there. So that one, that one, that one. There we go. There we go. And then that one. So then all I got to do is take this and put glue in those spots where I need to adhere all the pieces, and then they just doop like that. So it's quick, and I'm not sitting here trying to figure out what piece goes where. And then I have a cute little candy cane. Like, love it. And then I do the same thing with the other one. Just putting the glue in the same spots. And then just doop. There we go. There we go. And that one. And that one. Love it. So simple. So, got that one, and then I did it the second time as I'm knocking everything over. Get that guy out of the way. So we just do basically the same thing. So this guy, we'll pop him rather, and then that one, and that one. And then I've got that one and that one. And I can even, just like I did before, keep it upside down just so my brain sees where the pieces go. And this for me is just the fastest and easiest way to assemble these, so I'm not sitting here puzzling all the pieces together, which I don't mind doing for some die sets, but when it's like little things like this, I can get really annoyed really quickly. And this just works. It just works. There we go. There we go. And yes, and I also thought too about what would look really fun with these, instead of doing the die cuts red, is these would look really cute if you die cut the base from the red and then die cut the stripes from that Moonstone glitter cardstock. Yes. I thought about it. Could have done it. It would have looked awesome. But I kept the glitter cardstock to a little bit more of a minimum. I don't know. That's just what I decided to do, I guess. I don't know. I'm a professional. But yeah, they would look really cute. Red bases, and then do the top, the little, you know, the pieces lined up in the glassboard makes you look like you have a rogue candy. I know, right? Sometimes it gets a little trippy because of the the little curves. I didn't even assemble these very like straight. It kind of plays tricks on, at least, yeah, on my brain. The piece, and then once they're together, it's like, oh no, this all makes sense. But the weird little curves on them threw me off when I was assembling them for other cards in previous videos. I don't know why. I really struggled with these. And then I was like, oh, well, if you do it like this, it's so much easier. And then, where's my white gel pen? There it is. Got to add just a few little bits to enhance, just to give that little something. I'm still going to be adding splatter, of course, but adding little bits with a gel pen, it just livens things up. So add a little bit there. We'll put one there. And we'll put some right there. Can add some little bits to his little feet. It doesn't help that my gel pen, when it gets cold in here, which is frequently, gets a little bit more finicky. But yeah, just a few little bits. Again, hello to anyone tuning in. I forgot to give everyone another heads up this morning on my social media that I was going live, but what can you do? What can you do? So we've got that. A little bit there. So just little bits. And I'm not worried, especially with something like this, I am not at all worried about light sources, anything. I just put them wherever. And while I say that, I'm not knocking the time and effort put in to do shadow studies and determine light sources and all of that. That is an art, 100%. Like, the only reason I say, like, I'm just like, I don't worry about it is because I just don't, I just don't. But with some makers, it blows my mind how much depth they'll create with just like cutesy stamps, whatever, die cuts, and the way they'll shade it. And they will intentionally choose their highlights and where they place them. And it's like they'll just make like the whole scene, just pops off the card, pops off the page. Love it. Absolutely love it. I just, that's where my ADHD gets a little bit in my own way, where it's like, I know how to do these things. I understand light sources and theory and shadow and shading, I just don't do it. And in some cases, it's like there is no like whatever. It's a card. I just don't worry about it, you know. But and then also try not to stress out about it too much. It can get very overwhelming. All of the things. It can get so overwhelming, and it is just card making. It should be fun. So try not to let it overwhelm you and just add a few little dots, add a few little highlights, you know? Just wherever. Don't worry about it too much. It'll all turn out super cute anyway, you know? There we go. Let me zoom out a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Now we're like motoring along. Now that, you know, all the things. So, Big Mama foam tape. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, and then we talked about this during the Sunday live 2 days ago. My Big Mama foam tape, and I was saying how I was gonna like this, what I had left. I was like, oh yeah, this will last me till probably the end of the year, you know. I don't know why I lie to myself. Like, I'll be lucky if this thing lasts. This won't even last me to the end of the month. I use a lot of this foam tape. I loves it. So I'm putting some on the back of this panel to build up a little bit of dimension. Because as Laura Basson sings, dimension is life. And it is true. It really is. Think your cards turn out great without overthinking it. Do not think, just create. There's nothing I want to phrase this properly because I just, again, I don't want people to think like I'm bashing anyone in particular. No, I have a lot of admiration for the people that do put in that thought and effort. It shows, you know, and there's some phenomenal makers out there that just create beautiful colored images, cards, whatever, you know, whatever their main forte is. And the thought and that effort shows. And I love it. I love it. It's like I'll see their image will pop up in my feed and I'm just like jaw on floor. You know, they'll use all the same type of stuff that I've got and they just it's so good. It's so good. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I admire it a lot. I don't know. I've created this weird like monster in my own head of that's too much effort. Like I'm just on to the next thing. You know, it's just a card. Weh. But yeah. And then that said, sometimes I will literally spend, you know, an hour, 2 hours watercoloring an image for a card. You know, so it's all got its place. And as long as the person is enjoying themselves, who cares? The reason I say though, the whole like don't worry about it too much and yada yada though, is because there are those that overthink it, get themselves stressed out, you know, and are like, well, I don't understand shading, depth, the color theory, like all those things. And it's like, and they overthink themselves into like they paralyze themselves basically. You know what I mean? And that's where those are the ones I'm trying to talk to by saying just don't overthink it. It's just a card, you know? You'll learn as you go. Pick up tips and tricks. People ask me a lot, and that's also why I say what I say. Like, because people ask me a lot, like, well, how do you know where to put the little, like, the highlights and things like that? And that's where I say, I was like, don't overthink it. Because for me, I'm not thinking. I'm just like, it looks good there. You know, I'm not thinking of a light source. But for those wanting to learn more and like to figure it out more, you got to find the makers that do that sort of instruction. One is Christina Werner. She's done many, many videos over the years where she will do full on shadow studies where she'll take a stamped image and she'll color it with like pencils, just graphite and do a shadow study before she actually got, and she's shown that in videos and it's fascinating. And it really a good way to learn. So she's definitely one of them. And then there's other ones that aren't necessarily card makers, just artists that will show those basics. And that's where you can start starting. It's like shadow studies, and they'll talk about like if a light source is here, if a light source is here, and where to place your highlights, your midtones, your dark levels, if people are wanting to figure that out. And yeah, it definitely it definitely plays a part, even if it's just to learn from those makers and those artists in terms of like, yeah, where to place your white highlights, let alone but though where to add like shadows and depth. But the biggest one too is just try not to overthink it too much. It's we're not being graded on this. There's not a right or a wrong. You're not going to get kicked out of card making. Everyone, you got to enjoy it. I don't want people like stressing out about those things. Okay, we got to give him all his little accessories. That's why I started doing more than one at a time, so don't stress with it. Oh yeah, that too. Like making more than one. I do that a lot. I've shown that in a lot of videos. That definitely can help too, is when you're sitting down to create, is to like do everything twice. Stamp it twice, stamp two images, stamp, die cut everything twice, whatever. And kind of give yourself room to play with it all, to play and to figure things out and see what you like. And it's like, oh, well, I prefer it here, 100%. Okay, I want to we got to give him all his little pieces. So these, we're just going to go like that. And I squeeze some glue under there. And then I'm going to add just a smidge of the foam tape. I've watched one of her shadow study videos. She makes me wonder why it looks like it. But always remember too, though, Christina Werner has been doing this for a lot of years. A lot. Many, many, many years. And so it's not her first rodeo. She's put in a ton of time and effort and figured things out and all of that. So, yeah. Never compare your beginning, attempts to someone who's been doing it for decades, years. Some, and then when you get into like, if you're looking at shadow studies by like professionally trained artists that have gone to university, master's degrees in art, those sorts of things too. Always, yeah, like, and that's it because it's just art. Anyone can do it. You don't need a degree. We don't need all those things, but we can learn from those that have the degrees. It's hopefully I'm making sense. I can ramble on about all kinds of things. And also cut apart your die cuts. It's paper. Always remember, it's just paper. So we're going to tuck some of these in. I'm going to add just a sliver of foam tape behind that just to even things out like so. Christina's so talented, her line is so delicate. Christina and Kathy both have backgrounds in graphic design. Yes. And a lot of times that shows with a lot of my favorite makers. You can see I can see the graphic design background. But yes, both Christina Werner and Kathy Zielski have backgrounds in graphic design, and it kind of translates across how they approach what they do. And I loves it. Oop, that guy can just tuck right under there. Don't even have to cut him. Love it. Let's add some little bits of glue. Another fabulous colorist is Alberto Gava. I've shown his stuff a million times. I'll quickly, because I always get asked, because I butcher his pronunciation of his name. Hello. Yeah. That is his username. Low Shaker Atto Alberto. So Alberto Gava. His coloring is ridiculous. Like, speaking of penguins, look at it. Like, and quite often he will do things like, let me see if I can find one. Yes, quite often he will post graphics like this and he will list the colors that he used. And then he will sometimes also do little reels here and there, showing his, like, just coloring. Totally worth. Love it. And he's a sweetheart. Love him. So yeah, there's so much inspiration out there, you know? Okay, no, I want that one. That was the one. I'm going to tuck that in there. And yeah, there's many. And a bajillion more that I haven't mentioned and that I've yet to discover. I love it. I love it. Okay, we'll stick that one in there. And then we're going to add this one like this. Because I want to get all of this adhered before we add splatter. Yeah, Alberto is just fabulous. Fabulous. What he does with color, with markers, and then he adds depth, usually with a black color pencil. I love it. I love it. So much depth, and it just sometimes drives me insane because I'm like, man, what the heck? I have those stamps. I could never make them look like that. But that's also why you don't compare. That is his forte. That is where, his creativity and his expertise, because, he's been doing this for years, and it just, mwah, love it. Okay, gotta add, I'm like losing all my pieces, just like my mind. Is anyone surprised? You shouldn't be. So build up the one little corner that's kind of hanging off there. There we go. I want to be Alberto when I grow up. His coloring is thing. I know, right? I think we all want to be. I would like to be too. My thing is, we're all capable of it. Like, we're all capable of it. The biggest thing is that time and practice. And that's why I always remind people, don't compare yourself, your day one to someone's year 20 or whatever. And even myself, I've been making cards for a lot of years, but it's like, there's so much more room for improvement and practice and all the things. And if I really took the time to focus and practice and put in that effort, I could do that sort of coloring. I like doing all the things, and I'm okay with where I'm at, but I love it. I love it. We're gonna add splatter now that he's like getting there. Splatter. Okay, I have it out. I had it out. There's my splatter. I was like, where did it go? Gotta add some splatter to our little dude. But I need my palette. There we go. Palette. All right. Let's put that over there and get some of those out of the way. Doop, doop. And then splatter. We're going to add white splatter and black splatter because I'm insane. So 5 million different types of splatter, of course. Anyone who watches me for more than a week, you guys know I have many, many favorites. Lately, my current my current little OCD obsession, or no, not OCD, my ADHD fixation. I'm fixating on I had bought these Hero Arts. I have white acrylic speckle and black acrylic speckle. That's the current sort of fixation. I go through phases. And the only reason I say that is because you guys will see me, and then like 2 weeks from now, it'll be I'll go back to the gouache I always use, or I'll go to this product or that product. Do you need 20 variations of something? No. Do I? No. I see it in a store, and I'm just like, it's different. Add to cart. Like, let's be honest, it is what it is. But yeah, put some on my palette, and then we're just gonna add some splatter because I love it. Boop, boop, doo, 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 doo. I did add blobby bits. I need a little bit more. I want some there we go. Load up my brush. More. There we go. Yes. He's a snowy little penguin. We need the snow. So we got that. They look like Vallejo paintballs. I don't know. They're just small bottles. These are the same type of bottles that all the ink pad reinkers come in. These are a standard packaging thing across the crafting and art industry as a whole. Yeah. Okay, so that was the white. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of black splatter. Not a ton. Just a smidge. So, 3 drops is more than enough. And then I put that lid on. And then load up my brush. And when I'm wanting to be a little lighter handed, I'm not like whacking my brush really hard. If you want a lot of splatter and you're using something like a fan brush, you do it with purpose, with intention, and you just. But when I want, a little bit more moderate, I give it just lighter taps. There we go. Okay, we're good. I could keep going. You make the splatter look so easy. Exactly what I've been saying, though. I am a splatter expert. Kind of. I don't know how long it's been. I honestly, this is why you gotta be careful. Almost on me. Clean up the black splatters before, I flip it right onto myself and stain my clothing. Okay. I don't remember how long it's been since I, started dabbling. And I know this sounds silly, because in some ways it is. It's splatter, big whoop. But it was the same thing. When I know, it wasn't even necessarily card makers. I would just see people like painting and doing things, and they would add splatter, and I loved the look of it. But I was like, how do you get it where you want, And then I started dabbling in it, doing a little bit here and there, and then getting more and more comfortable with it. Another one was Christina Werner, and the way she still does it this way, and I've shown it in videos too. Is she would take an acrylic block and use like the metallic watercolors, things like that, and she would mix it up and she puts it on the block, and she uses just a regular brush, like a little regular brush, and then uses the block and Goes like this. And it kind of, in a sense, doing it that way gives you a little bit more control because you're holding the block, you've got the brush, and you can kind of sort of aim it where you want. So if I wanted splatter here, I'd be like, and I'd aim my block and my brush. The thing to remember with the block, though, depending on what you're using, is if you're not paying attention, the liquid of choice, whatever you're splatting with, can start to run down the side and drip. Been there, done that. It's like I'm doing my thing, and then I end up with this big, like just ruin. So always keep that in mind. But she showed that I don't even know how many years ago, and I was like, well, that's fun. So sometimes I still do it. It just depends on my mood. So that's one way. And then, funny enough, of all people, it was Kathy Zielski who got me onto the fan brush, which just is funny because she's way more clean and simple and very much more conservative, but it was her. And she started using it, and I was like, oh, add to cart, I love this dude is so used. I've broken him in lives. I duct taped him back together. Don't care. I've been using the same brush for years. He's whatever. I love him. And then, funny enough, Kathy pretty much stopped using this and has gone back to a smaller brush, but she's much more conservative. However, I did influence her to buy that big black tube of black gouache, the monster size one. She texted me and she was like, what have you done to me? And I was like, ha ha ha. Welcome to the insanity. But she's still much more conservative with it. I love it because that's her style and it works. But still, it's all her fault. We can blame her. Haha. But anyway, all I'd say, practice. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. You kind of can control it within reason. Because again, splatter has a mind of its own. It's just going all over the place, But the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. I am very comfortable now. It's like, do my thing, add my splatter. It doesn't intimidate me. But in the very beginning, it is a lot more intimidating because it's like, what if I wreck it? I don't, practice. It helps. The more you do it, the better you get it. And then you can step into the black splatter. And I love it. I love how it looks. And if you don't like it at all, that's okay. You just don't yuck other people's yum. Right? If you don't like splatter, that's totes okay. It's fine. The reason I love it is it's simple. It adds texture. It helps disguise when I mess up. Because it's like, oh, I get a little smear, a little this, add some splatter, you don't notice it. And also, it's just fun. I don't know. I just getting it everywhere. It's all over. You can kind of see it on camera. It's all over my desk. Like I scrub this every once in a while. I have splatter all over my glasswork surface. It's on my camera. It's on my lens. Like on the edge, not in front of like the actual glass, but there's gold. I can see a speckle of gold on my lens. I don't care. It's funny. So, to each their own, but it's fun. It's fun. Okay, we need to do, where's my sentiments? I lost them already. There they are. That's what we need. I think it helps to understand that we do not need to control everything. Yes, sometimes things happen and they can just be beautiful. Accept it. 100%. 100%. That is also part of it. And I always tell y'all this, and I know I kind of harp on it, but it's, as someone who has OCD in very low on the spectrum, because OCD is its own thing. I'm not diminishing, because OCD can be debilitating for a lot of people. Mine, thankfully, is very, very low, and it's more just the control tendencies of things. So, in other ways, control freak. And for a long time, specifically in card making, because again, I've been doing this for over 20 years. For many years, in the early years when I was into it, the control tendencies were looking back, they were ridiculous. How everything had to be perfect. Colors had to match perfectly. Like the accessories and the ribbons and the ink and the card, like everything had to match. Everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be lined up exactly. Like it was this bizarre obsession with perfection. And I was part of it too, without understanding it. It wasn't until, and that's what really got me deeper and deeper, the more like online became, because when I first started card making, online wasn't a thing. But like splatter and watercolor and embracing that imperfection, it um it is a good thing. And that's where splatter really helps, just embrace it, go with it, have fun with it. It is just paper. So hopefully that makes sense. It's something that just is top of mind quite often for me. Because sometimes over the years it's been really ridiculous. It's not like that anymore for the most part. Thankfully, there's just the industry has grown and changed, and way, way, way more people are in card making and brands, and so like it's evolved a ton, and in a million% better ways, because perfection is 100% overrated and a load of crap, you know. So yeah, yeah. I don't think I put enough splatter on. It tends to look a bit awkward on my cards. Maybe adding 2 colors help. Maybe. It all just depends. The big thing too, I just need a piece. The big thing too is when we are making whatever it is, whether you're just coloring an image or watercoloring or ink blending or fully finished card, walk away from it. If you're feeling like things aren't looking right and it's really bothering you, whether it's the finished card or the image you colored or whatever it is you did, and it's bothering you and it looks off, walk away from it. Set it aside, go do something else, go do laundry or something. Just go do something else, even if it's just creating something else, and then come back to it. Because more often than not, we're our own harshest critics, and coming back to it with fresh eyes, it's amazing. The amount of times where I'm just like, this looks like hot garbage. Bleh, and I walk away from it, and I come back to it later, and I was like, what was it? You have blinders on sometimes. It's weird. It's weird, but yeah. And we are our own harshest critics. 100%. 100%. I'm using the sentiment. We got to heat emboss. Yes. Okay. Doodly-doo. The imperfection sets you free. Yes. OCD can be proven. Yes. Do you have an affiliate link for the new Simon Christmas tag set that came out today? I don't have a direct affiliate link, but if you click on any of my affiliate links, it works. Like, regardless of what you order. If a person wants to give any affiliate maker the credit for an order, just make sure it's one of their links was the last link you clicked before you place the order. Doesn't matter what's in your cart. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a direct link. You could be ordering blending brushes, a penguin, and glitter cardstock, whatever. And you could click on a link of mine, like your cart is full, and you could go click on a link of mine for something completely unrelated, but as long as it goes to the same store that you're checking out for, you click on that maker's link, place your order, they'll get the credit for it. That's, yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, I want a white heat emboss. I have just recently learned to do the walk away thing. It does work. Yes, it's like kind of clearing your mind, because it's weird when you've been just working on this one thing, whatever it is, for an extended period of time, you don't see it as clearly. So when you walk away and you're thinking about other things, and it's like kind of refreshing and resetting your brain, and then you come back to whatever it is later, you're looking at it with fresh eyes. And it's amazing sometimes how you'll just be like, what was I thinking? This is fine. This looks great. It's amazing even. It's weird. It is weird. how our brains do that to us. Love that sometimes. Our brains just like to derail us of everything. Okay. Anti-static powder tool. This is the Lakefront, Concord 9th Lakefront cardstock again, just to keep everything consistent. So anti-static powder on the cardstock. And then I stamped a sentiment. If I'm mad, I walk away and breathe. Works in Hughes. Oh, yes. Yes, it applies to like everything, really. If you're feeling overwhelmed in a situation or frustrated or just, you feel like you can't think straight, it's walking away in the middle of an argument, whatever it is, and just to reset, get some time to process and do other things, distract yourself from it for a bit, and then you come back to it. I am clumsy today. Well, I'm clumsy every day. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Yeah. What white gel pen would you recommend? See, this is exactly why I try to link to all the things. I will add the link. Actually, I can add it. Give me 1 second. I got to get the embossing powder to sit on this first. Let me get the embossing powder on first before we do anything else. This is exactly why I list and link everything. And I'm not saying that as an insult to you, Denise. I always get asked about the thing I don't link to. I use a jelly roll pen, and I will post a link in the supplies to the specific one that I use because it is my favorite and I use it all the time. Okay. If you refresh the visual supply list, it'll be at the very bottom of the list. And then we'll be good. So it's there. That's the one. That's what I use is my Sakura Jelly Roll 10. This is my favorite white gel pen. Love it. Biggest thing always to remember with gel pens, you need to use them consistently. Not like every single day. Rawr. If you don't use it every day, it's going to die. But any gel pen, you need to use it consistently. If you let it sit for months on end, they dry up the tip. But if it's been sitting for a while and you go to use it and nothing's coming out at all, warm it up a bit. Like even just on your hand, if your hands are warm. If your hands aren't warm, just warm it up a bit. And I will scribble because sometimes it'll get buildup. Any gel pen will get a little bit of buildup right there. So I'll kind of like literally just go like that on my finger. And usually that's just enough. And then I'll take a little scrap of paper sometimes too, and I'll, but usually just a little bit of warmth, clean off any little bit of buildup, and it should be good. But using it consistently. So I only keep one out at a time until I use it up. And this one's actually almost completely used up because I use it. And then I don't open another one until he's used up. And then repeat. Because, yeah, if they sit forever, they just dry up. They stop working, But he is that Jelly Roll 10 favorite gel pen. It doesn't matter. I store mine like upright. It doesn't matter. I don't store it horizontally. I don't store it tip down. I just throw it in my little doohickey like this. He works fine. Never had a problem. Gel pens and pastes are like the dogs of crafting. They need regular exercise and attention. Truth. Love it. I love Pretty Pink Posh's font. I call it the Pretty Pink Posh font. I love it. I love it so much. It's so good. It's so good. Okay. We have that. And then while I have my MISTI out, I'll stamp because I have sentiments I want to stamp on the inside. There it is. I was like, where's the lid? Where's the lid? Yes, that's exactly what happened to mine. I went to use it and it was dead. You could still try to like warm it up a bit. You know, warm it up a bit within reason. And then scribbling it and see. But yeah, sometimes they get, you know, passed to a point of no return sort of a thing. Yeah. But if you use them consistently, like I don't use mine every single day, even though like I work every single day. I'm generally crafting for work pretty much daily. But I don't use my gel pen every day, but I use it often. How did I do it on the other one? Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stamp this with the gray ink. So that dark gray I used for the ink blending. But yeah, gel pens, that's just the nature of the product. And everyone has their preferences. We have a lot more now on the market than we ever used to. I like variety, so I'm here for it. But yeah, this is the one I've been using for I don't even know how many years now. There's an 8 and there's a 5, and the numbers just refer to the line size, like how thick of a line you draw with it. 10 is the thickest. This is the one I always use. There's 8 and then there's 5. So 5 is very narrow, thin. So if you want really delicate, you'd go for the 5. The 8 is just whatever. I prefer the Jelly Roll 10. That's my personal preference because I want that thicker, you know, white little dots and everything else. It is. I know. I like the fonts so much. So much. I'm going to put this one. Let's put Snow One Else Like You. I love punny sentiments as well, because who doesn't? Well, not everyone, but I do. I do. Okay. So, that I'm going to stamp with the Tide Pool shade. Just do. Oh, let's stamp them a second time just to make sure I got them. There we go. There we go. And then we put the stamp away before Amy loses it. Like, she's lost her mind and everything else. Because again, who are we kidding? I haven't been sane ever. Back to him. So, it only takes a couple seconds for heat embossing to cool down. It doesn't need to sit for minutes. Like I say it in my videos, it takes seconds. Once it's cooled down, I take a microfiber cloth and I'm just buffing away that anti-static powder, which doesn't show up a whole lot on lighter cardstocks, thankfully. But when you're like white heat embossing on like black cardstock, dark cardstock, that white powder shows up and it ain't pretty. So I just take a microfiber cloth, buff it away, and then we're good to go. We're good. Everything is good. So I want to use the coordinating wafer die. And we're going to die cut him. So I'll make sure I get everything lined up. Just like so. And then I just got the multi-plaque so I can play with it. Oh yeah. Because again, everyone has personal preferences. And some things work for others. Same with just techniques or methods of doing things. You know, some makers do things and I get out, so there's like, oh, why don't you do this certain thing in this certain way? And I was like, because it doesn't work for me, or I don't like doing it that way, or whatever, you know, whatever the reason is. You know, it's like that works for so-and-so and that's great, you know. And sometimes I'm like, what wizardry are they doing? That, whatever it is, I was like, it does not, that has never worked for me. Like using the whole corner of your MISTI or corner of your, like score buddy, you know, those raised edges to line up when you're adhering down card fronts, things like that. So many makers do that. Doesn't work for me. I've tried it multiple times. I make it more crooked when I do it that way, which is kind of stupid when you think about it, because it's like, that's a 90-degree angle. How can you mess that up? But I do. I'm a professional. So that's why I don't show that. There's so many amazing things now. I bought my first stamp in high school in 1975, Hero Arts. And there's nothing but raised edge ink pads. Yes. Yeah, I remember those. Yeah. Yeah, the ink pads were like sunk in and the plastic came right up. I remember those types of ink pads. Yeah, things have changed a lot. We have so much variety now and it makes it so much, it's way more fun. Way more fun. Love it. Okay, so we got those. We'll get that in a second. I'm going to add my little candy cane and little present to the inside. And normally I don't do like foam tape on the inside ever. However, I've got like layers. So this just cleans it up a smidge to adhere things down. Because again, burp. And this foam tape is super thin, so I don't care. It won't add a ton of extra bulk to my... They were like office ink pads. Yes. I remember those. We didn't, just... Things just didn't exist back in the day. There were just not many options. And... over time, people would just kind of figure things out over time, what would work and what didn't work. And then, as the industry evolved and more brands started figuring things out and more people started, people like Tim Holtz, etc. They were like, what if we had an ink that did this? What if we had markers that did this? Love it. And now we've got a bajillion things. Do we need all the things? No. Do we want all the things? Yes. Do you have to have all the things? No. And I say that as someone who does this as a job and relies on, affiliate sales, everything else. But I'm also realistic. Or as realistic as I can possibly be while I lie to myself. Because it's like, Amy, do you need multiple, multiple brands of cardstock, ink, market, like all the bajillion things I own? No. But I like them. And they make me happy, so I don't care. So, here's what it is. I like Kathy's way of lining it up, stand up. Like, yes, that one is effective. Like, actually getting up and looking straight down if you are trying to get something like perfectly lined up. So it's like, I will get up, you look straight down, and that one is because it's just getting that, because when you're sitting, you were looking on an angle. But that's also why I like using liquid glue, because then I can zhuzh it over. I'm not stuck with it. When you're using, if I was using foam tape to adhere all this, or like a tape runner, something where you get one shot, then yeah, you want to make sure you get it right lined up. But that's why I love liquid glue, because then I can like fiddle, get everything where I need it to be. This was actually a little bit bigger than my card base. So what I can do is I can either take scissors. There's just you can barely see it, but there's the card front's hanging off my card base. So I can either take scissors and just line it up, or I just take my paper trimmer and I just line up the bottom of the card right there. Ooh. There we go. And just clean that right up. So we got that. And speaking of all the things, the mushroom dies finally came back in stock. I accidentally purchased them twice. I'm not sorry. I bought a second set of those. Yeah, I'm not sorry either. Certain things that I use so much, if I find myself reaching for a certain thing over and over and over, and I'm using it a lot, especially wafer dyes, like over and over again, where I get annoyed, I will order a second set so that convenience, I don't do it with a lot of things, but those little mushroom dyes, Yep, I own 2 sets of them because I love them. And then I die cut a second just to give this a little bit more dimension, just like that. And then he's gonna go right there. So I want to add a little bit of foam tape right there. Yeah, to even him out. And then I can even take this little bit I had left over and stick him right there. Get him all evened out and stack him in place like that so that the sentiment lays a little more flush. Here we go. This cardstock is Lakefront. This lighter cardstock is Tide Pool. From Concord 9th. And then a little bit of liquid glue. And then we just kind of dirt. And we stick them in place. And that finishes off my card. He's super duper cute. And I loves him. Long enough. No, let me zoom in. There we go. Look at him and his little glittery hat. And he's super adorable. And all that dimension and splatter. And I kind of covered up that stencil, but that stencil is just a winner. Love it. Love it. And then the inside is super adorable too. Just those little extras. And then, yeah. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm going to plug it again because it's worth checking out. Because if you follow me on Instagram and you go there today and find this, because I already have this posted on my Instagram because I'm part of a hop for sharing inspiration with Pretty Pink Posh. If you go to my Instagram and hop along, leave comments, because there was a hop yesterday. I'm part of today's hop. And then there's like 3 more days after this of hops because there's giveaways and just tons of inspiration. Talking about like, so many different makers, so many different styles. That's one thing I love about the that's one of the things I love about new releases when there's blog hops, Instagram hops, YouTube hops, etc., is seeing all the different inspiration, but especially all these different styles of makers using the same products and like doing things in ways I would never think of, color combos I would never think of, combining different products that I never would have combined that with that, and that sort of thing. I love it. I love it. Things will pop up on my feed, using the exact same stuff, and I'm just like, you're a genius. I never would have thought to use that color. I never would have thought, so worth it. So definitely check out my Instagram. Follow me. Same with my other social medias. Subscribe if you haven't. I say that sarcastically, but it does. It does actually. It helps. It helps. It helps, and I appreciate it. I always feel like such a. I don't know. It makes me feel weird when I'm just like, like and subscribe. It helps. It does. It tells the robot overlords you like what you see. And it's true. We're all at the mercy of these algorithms, and the algorithms suck. 100%. So it does help. Do you still do the color throwdown challenge? No, I resigned from that. Goodness. I think last year. Yeah, I don't work with them anymore. There's something else that I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I think I missed it. Okay. Well, I know, isn't he just adorable? And yeah, I really like those colors. So, yeah. Those, because I only link to the generic, like just Concord 9 cardstock. It's all great. They have beautiful colors. But those are the two specific. I use Lakefront for the darker and Tide Pool for the lighter. The red is Cranberry. Yeah. Cranberry. The gray could be Mushroom, but I use Simon Says Stamps. That's what's linked, is Simon Says Stamps Slate, because that's what that is. And his little yellow feetsies are Simon Says Stamps Honey. Love this color so much. Love that color. And then the Altenew, which I showed in the beginning. The Altenew Moonstone and all those other glittery cardstock fabulousness. I need to revisit that iridescent hematite. I really wish. Yeah. My cameras are not doing it justice. The lights, oh, there, kind of. That kind of gives it. Because the reflection of the lights on the glitter makes it like, wah, which is beautiful. But it's got like rainbow iridescent. Isn't it beautiful? I'm like here for it. I'm here for it. Anyway. I have 5 million other things I need to get done today. So I appreciate you all popping in. I'm going to be live again on Thursday. It's already set up. It's on the Altenew channel. So I'll be live on the Altenew channel on Thursday at 3:30 Eastern with Bridget. That's going to be super fun. I'm looking forward to that. I love Bridget. So I'll be live then. I'm not sure if I'm going to be restreaming it to mine at the same time. I'm not sure yet. I haven't figured that out. So I'll for sure be there though, if not on both, like that and mine at the same time. One thing at a time. So yeah, I'll be doing that. And then I have just regular videos, like always. You know, those will pop up when they pop up. Because I don't, schedules are hard. Life is chaos. But yeah, this is on Instagram. I'll do the blog post now that this live is over. I'll be doing my blog post and all the things. And then just stay tuned. I'll have all kinds of things to share. So I will see you all very soon in another video. And let's hope my outro works. We shall just see, because things are looking a little weird. So yeah, I hope the rest of you have a wonderful day. And I will catch you all very soon in another video. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!